Hi, Bother Brigade. Here's what's bothering me today. The discourse surrounding Madison Cawthorn is really weird to see and in many ways problematic. So for those unaware, Madison Cawthorn was recently exposed, being seen and probably videoed in lingerie at some kind of a party and wearing earrings. And so everyone's lost their minds, right? And a lot of people have decided to show their entire ass and engage in blatant homophobia because homophobia is wrong, except when someone we don't like is clearly a hypocrite, in which case suddenly it becomes fine to be bigoted. Like it's fine because, you know, that terrible person has done it, right? And the actual answer is no, it's never fine. It doesn't matter who's doing it, whether it's someone you like or you hate or you agree with them or you disagree with them. Homophobia bad, full stop. And it's not surprising, right? But lots of people, especially on the right, seem to be thinking, oh, well, that's it. Madison Cawthorn's done for. How could he, right? And sure, this is the thing. The least offensive thing that Madison Cawthorn has done is, well, we'll do him in with Republicans, maybe, which that's very surreal. However, there's another part of this story that is deeply concerning to me beyond the hypocrisy from many self-professed allies with regards to homophobia and bigotry. Lots of people are looking at this and talking about Madison Cawthorn as if this is like the big bombshell and this is what's getting trending, right? This is what's getting the traffic and the views because of his hypocrisy. It's not about the fact that when he was elected, he basically lied about his personal history. He lied about the results of the election. It's not about the very credible allegations of sexual assault against him, right? No, instead it's about him dressing up in lingerie at a party. It's like, I can't stress enough how little I care about this man being, exposed for wearing lingerie and wearing hoop earrings at some kind of function somewhere. I really do not care about that. That is ultimately, in the greater scheme of things, harmless behavior. What's not so harmless, however, is Madison Cawthorn feeling entitled to women's bodies, hence the allegations of sexual assault. What's not harmless is how he literally sat, pardon the pun, directly there in front of a House committee and making this speech about women are earthen vessels and that's why abortion bad and you should overturn Roe v. Wade. That is not harmless, right? It's also not harmless to spread lies and myths and mistruths about the U.S. election. These are all not harmless things. But him having a bit of fun and dressing up in women's lingerie, apparently that's the big spooky thing. It's the big crime. Oh, how could he? This is so terrible. It is so immensely stupid. The Madison Cawthorn story reveals two big problems within America right now. They aren't the only two problems, but they're really big, and I don't see enough people recognizing them as such and talking about it as such. One is that a lot of self-professed allies will let the mask slip when someone else is shown to be a hypocrite or does something that they've come out against before. And I'm fairly certain that trans people and members of the LGBTQ community are noticing this right now as it's happening, as self-professed allies are suddenly being like, Madison Cawthorn, but in like the worst way imaginable. So that's one problem, which means a lot of people are now more hesitant to trust self-professed allies because, well, how much of an ally are you really? And then the second problem is that this is the big story that's emerging about Madison Cawthorn and making him unpalatable to a lot of people on the right. And it's a big story in the media rather than everything else that is an absolute net negative of him that I mentioned earlier. That is a problem where him doing this is more a problem than him challenging the legitimacy of the election, forcing himself on women, and just generally being a terrible piece of trash. Not because of dressing up like this, though. That's the issue for me. Far be it for me to defend Madison Cawthorn, and trust me, I'm not. He's a terrible, reprehensible human being. But attacking him for this seems really weird and strange and surreal to me, when there are far more valid reasons to attack him and to distrust him and to ensure that he's never near the levers of power or influence ever again. But unfortunately, that's not part of the story. Instead, the story is just a lot more homophobia and blatant bigotry from people who claim to be against that kind of thing. And I think at the end of the day, that's what's bothering me today.